Welcome to Fantasy Beach Boys, episode number 10. We have a very special guest today. His name is Chris Ackroyd, works for the NHL. Welcome, Chris. How's it going today?
It's going great. Thanks for having me, boys. It is a divine honor to be asked to join you for this session. Excited to be here and talk some hockey. I do feel like I should, in a tacky way, give you the whole, hey, these are my opinions, not affiliated with my employer, unofficial fantasy hockey thoughts, not representing anyone other than myself. No, I do, but let's chat it out and see what's happening. It's been a busy week.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got we have a good lineup here. I think I got 3 good picks. I know Savage was crunching some numbers.
Yeah, we'll go 2 good picks for sure.
Yeah.
One I'm a little shaky on, but I'll convince you guys for sure.
All right. Well, let's have the guest started off here. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have you started off, Chris. Who's your ad?
My ad, I think it's timely, but you got to snag him up because he's going in a lot of leagues. It's Mr. Schultz. He's coming off an injury. He didn't play on Saturday, and hopefully that's deterring people from the pickup. I did see that he's rostered to 25% rostered, so it's a popular pick. Maybe that's an easy one, but putting up points, and frankly, the Caps have shown that they're pretty strong. I think we're getting to the point in the season where we're starting to see who's going to compete. Right? Everyone does the whole they're going to underperform, they're going to overperform. The standings are starting to speak for themselves. Washington's looking good. I think Schultz is the pickup.
Yeah, I really like that pick personally. I mean, they're in a tough division as it is, but Schultz has proven in the past he can put up the points. So I like that ad.
Yeah.
Anything on your part? Or?
Yeah, I can't complain. I mean, that's a good ad. He's been climbing up kind of the transaction trend, so that's a good ad. Good defenseman. You can put up some points. Adds to other categories too. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll carry us over on the defenseman bandwagon. I got fresh off the World Juniors, unfortunately silver medal, but that's Bowen Byram of the Colorado Avalanche, and so he's only at 12% roster on Yahoo, which is fairly low. Which he's also a rookie, so that's the reason why. But he's the fun fact on Daily Faceoff. He's on the second pairing, and he's actually the first second pairing in the NHL, ranked, those two guys combined, which I found very interesting at a 75.81% rating. He is around 17 minutes a game, so he does see the ice a lot, considering that Colorado team is so so front loaded and even back load with McCarr and all those guys. But high powered offense, he's offensive defense. I can see his points starting to rise a little bit more in the near future, and I think now is a good time to pick him up. He gets lots of shots on goal, lots of blocks, and he has a potential to be on that first power play unit someday soon, and even play with McCarr, I think, in the near future if he keeps up his play. So that's my ad, Bowen Byram of the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like him, young guy, fresh legs, playing on a really good team. His plus minus, he might even take over for Gravesy, who's been shit, But no, I like that pick. Young guy. I think he'll do well with Colorado. All right. I'm actually doing a defenseman too. 3 defensemen here. 1% rostered. I have Pierre-Olivier Joseph. Kind of a sneaky 1% rostered. Obviously, he had a massive game the other day. He logged 33 minutes of ice time. You don't just play a guy 33 minutes and just expect his role to just go to nothing after. So if Letang's out long term, this guy becomes, I think, in 2 weeks, 40% rostered. And he probably takes over PP1 where Letang was, because they don't really have any good offensive defensemen in that lineup. So I would stash him right now just in case Letang's out long term and just see how they play him after this monster game. He has 4 points already at a 3 assists plus 3 game and a 5-4 win. So obviously this guy's legit. He's young, and I think I like him as a stash. I think he could be as kind of like a sneaky pick him up now, see what happens, and then just drop him if you don't like what they're doing with him.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I've never really heard of this guy before. So I mean, Jeremy, if this guy can turn out to be a stud, then I guess you look like a genius here. But 1% not roster, that's a bold take for sure. So it's kind of
It's a deep flyer. But I mean, if you've got some flexibility on the roster, like that's one, like you said, Roacher, you go for it and give it a couple games. For me personally, I'd probably give him another game or two to see if that ice time's up, to see if he's contributing. But yeah, if you've got a D man that's doing brutal and you got to dump him anyway, then take a shot. I don't hate it. Sometimes you got to go for it. Then you look back at the end of the year when he's put up 40 points and go, all right, that 1% rostered guy, he was a deep pick that worked out. So why not?
Yeah.
I guess that leads pretty well into our drops, considering this guy could be a drop in the future. So you like that one?
Yeah.
So Chris, what's your drop for today?
My drop, I love him. Wish he was doing better, but it's going to be Tomas Hertl, and for a couple reasons. He's not putting up points like one would hope. He's not contributing. But the big thing for me, talked about the idea, like, is it a drop or is it a buy low because they're going to turn it around? The Sharks just aren't doing much of anything, frankly. And there are a lot of drop options, guys underperforming on the Sharks right now. And it's going to take a lot of guys all upping their game to get a rising tide in San Jose. So if that happens, then maybe there'll be a few available Sharks down the road, but they're not having the season people hoped. A lot of people were saying, like, hey, you know what? Everyone knows the roster is okay. They've just been doing poorly. This is the year they turn it around. Not so much so far. So Tomas Hertl, there are a couple other Sharks options. Maybe it's time to look at dropping, but that's when I'm moving on and trying something new there.
I don't hate that either. I mean, the Sharks are, like, they're beyond atrocious right now. Like you say, like nothing's going right for them. So I mean, that's a bold take to drop Hertl, but I think it could also pay off considering that he may have one of his worst careers in the NHL so far. But I don't hate that drop at all. Jared, what were your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it seems like our guests love the hot takes for the drops. Hertl's 76% rostered. Obviously, the Sharks suck. They're just not good. In such a short season, I don't know if Hertl could really bounce back from his start. So I like it. It's a bold take, but it's a short season, so anyone can be dropped. You got to be good, and you got to be good in a short amount of time. So I like the pick.
All right, I'll go with mine. This is the one that this took me a while to find this guy here. I did some digging yesterday. It's Tony DeAngelo, another defenseman for the New York Rangers. He's 61% roster owned on Yahoo, and he actually dropped to the third pair D pair with Braden Smith, according to Daily Faceoff. I mean, with the Rangers, they're in such a tough division, and they're just not playing up to their standards, in my opinion. I think just the other night they blew a 3-goal lead against the Penguins. Your Oliver Joseph guy who went off, but he is first power play with Buchnevich, Zibanejad, Panarin, and Fox, but at the same time, the only power play efficiency is only 13.8%, which is 23rd in the NHL, which isn't that good at all. And just the fact that they're struggling, I just don't see him coming out of it, especially if he's stuck on that third pair. And that's my drop, Tony DeAngelo. It's a little bold, but I'm sticking with it.
All right, we like bold. We like bold on the show. To be honest, I don't really know much about this guy, but if he dropped to the third line, then he becomes irrelevant. So I like that drop.
Yeah.
Boys, you've been working hard to get organized to record today. You haven't been on the newswire, right? You're going to have to convince the audience that this was prophetic and not reported after the fact. The Rangers waived DeAngelo, like, in the last hour.
No way. Oh, no way.
So I mean,
that's my drop.
To have some ability with the taxi squad or whatever. But, I mean, obviously you're reading, right? Because I think we're going to see a lot of drops. So he's certainly a polarizing character on and off the ice. So I don't know if he's going to get claimed. That is an interesting one to follow. I know you did.
That just backs up my point now even further to drop DeAngelo. So now I'm looking like a genius, I guess here.
Yeah. All right, so I'll go my drop here. I got Ryan Graves from the Avalanche. I don't know how this guy is 39% owned, but I mean, the guy is just, I mean, if you're not in a plus minus league, like this guy should be long gone from your roster and probably doesn't even get drafted. Plus minus leagues, obviously the guy led the whole league in plus minus and he's having a terrible start. Just have a short leash on him. I mean, he's -5, close to there. I mean, he's been called out by his coach that he's been doing terrible. So Ryan Graves, don't like the guy, so he's my drop.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, he's on the second
line.
Second pairing. Yeah. So I mean, he is off to a slow start. I mean, that's a guy who maybe you drop now, and if he starts to heat up and he's still available, pick him up again. But I don't hate that Ryan Graves at all. So
all right, let's get into our trades here. Chris, who do you think the viewers should trade for?
I got a bit of a bias because I have this guy on one of my clubs, but the time is right, and I think you can probably swindle some owners in your league if the value's there. Trade target's going to be Brady Tkachuk for a couple reasons. One is that hopefully you can find someone who's willing to sell off because the Sens are doing terribly, and they want to avoid that at all costs. And Tkachuk's not putting up a lot of points right now. So I think there are people that are, not getting what they had hoped out of him, whoever drafted him, and he went pretty high in a lot of leagues. But specifically, if you're in a roto league, head-to-head, not quite as much, but still certainly important. Brady Tkachuk is putting up points constantly, even though he's not finding the net. So if you got guys that are looking at goals and assists, he's doing terribly. And if you're looking down the stat line, he's still crushing it. And in a roto league, I saw the other night, I think he was like no goals, no assists, and put up 7.5 points. Like the guy is just banging bodies and just firing pucks on net constantly. And for that reason, I like it. I think there's value you can pull away from someone. And when he's getting all his points, not on the score sheet with all the other stats, the nice thing is it's consistent. Guys are going to go on slumps where they're not going to be scoring up and down and, hot streak, cold streak, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to go on a hit slump. He's going to deliver his hits. He's not going to go 5 games without playing his style. So for that reason, I think you can hopefully snake Brady Tkachuk and know that he's going to get you a handful of points every single night, no matter if he's scoring or not.
Yeah, I like that trade piece for sure. Like you say, he may not be leading like the eye candy categories, but he's leading in the grit and grind ones. And he's also a talented player. He's going to be putting up the points eventually sometime soon. So, I mean, trade for him now while his value's a little bit lower. But yeah, I like that a lot. Like you said, he's definitely going to throw that body around. That Ottawa team's also very physical, like we said before, I think. But I like that trade piece there, Brady Tkachuk. Love that one.
Yeah, Brady. He gets played so much on PP1. He's on line 1. He's their guy right now. I like that. He was valued really high before the season coming into this fantasy year. So I think you could potentially get him at a low cost and it'd be worth it.
Nice. I'm going to shift gears back again to this time the Dallas Stars here. Another forward, Denis Gurianov. So he's actually slotted on Yahoo as a left wing / right wing, so you can play both utility left wing and right wing, which is very beneficial. And he's also 43% roster on, which I found pretty low actually, considering the type of talent he is. And simply because, well, there's no proof to it, but since last year I've been raving about this guy. I've loved him ever since. And the fact that their season was delayed like a week or two, ever it was, they are going to be playing a lot of hockey down the stretch, which could work to his advantage or not, depending on fatigue and stuff. But he's going to see a lot of hockey, and he's on that second line with Jason Dickinson, good Georgetown kid, and Justin Dallin, and he logs around 16 minutes of ice, 16 minutes ice a game, which isn't terrible for a second liner. And he's also on that first power play, so he's going to get the points with Radulov and the big boys like Pavelski getting those tip-ins, Klingberg from the point, and Heiskanen. And I just love this guy in general. He seems to be on the score sheet every night, and whether it's not he's scoring goals, he's taking shots, blocking shots, all the good stuff. So Denis Gurianov is my trade piece of the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'll give props to Savage. He's been praising this guy since the start of the year and last year, saying that he's going to be something legit. Maybe this year is his year. He's been good. I think he's got in in the last week, he's been picked up like plus 30%. So obviously people are seeing that he's playing well. But I'm shifting also to the Stars. I think we talked about that. They got a bunch of games coming up. Jamie Benn. I know their owners must be getting frustrated right now from his injuries.
You're one of them, aren't you?
I'm one of them. Yeah. So I think you could get him at low value. I mean, he's definitely the guy. He's playing on a Dallas team that's looked really good to start off the year, even without Seguin. So I think Jamie Benn, he comes in, he's going to be the guy. He's a 5-category type of guy. He gets hits, he gets shots. Yeah. So I like Jamie Benn. I think he could take advantage of an owner and get him at a low cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. I like that pick. What are your thoughts on that one, Chris? Jamie Benn.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Ben or the injury thing, you just never know. I like the thought that you both had with the Stars, that they're going to be playing more hockey down the stretch, and I'd like to dive into that in a second a little bit too. Mm-hmm. I do think it's a bit of a flyer, right? And that's what you got to do if you're looking to trade, right? If someone scared of him, right? They don't think he's going to get injured again, don't think he's going to put it up. If you're willing to take that risk and the trade is right, I think that's a good one to go for.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we all have good picks. I know, Chris, what would be your fantasy advice to owners out there?
It's a good question. I've been riffing off this for a little while because the season's so unique. And that's why I was glad you guys said that, like specifically thinking about honing in on the Stars. You know, normally we wouldn't have schedules so backloaded, so inconsistent from club to club. And really, I put it in the trade category, but you can look at it with ad drop too, just roster building in general, more so than any other year. I think it's important to take a look at diversifying your roster and making sure you're spread among divisions. The main reason for that is everyone's playing the same clubs, and we've seen a bunch of games get canceled. For the three of us, for, I would guess, a lot of your audience, we're seeing a lot from the Scotia North and not as much elsewhere. But, you're loaded up with 2 skaters and a goalie in Edmonton and another 2 skaters in Vancouver. And suddenly their 3-game set gets canceled. You're losing 15 games on the week and you're toast.
Yeah.
So you either have no chance or you got to start moving pieces that you shouldn't be moving, right? So I think that's the key. If you can find fair value trades, whether it's 1-for-1 or whatever, but you can spread yourself out between teams for sure, but especially among divisions, because you never know who's, right? Even if one team's having trouble and they get canceled, there are other teams that are getting canceled alongside them, whatever their matchups are. So I think that's a piece to rejig. And I hadn't originally done much of that, but got to go back through the roster and go, am I too heavy here? Am I exposed? Because that's just it. The week's over the second 2 games get canceled if you're too loaded up on one team or one roster or one division.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that hot take, I guess, for fantasy advice. I mean, I guess kind of load up on that North Scotia division because has been, well, fingers crossed, no games postponed yet. But I like that you spread your team out because there's obviously going to be more postponements down the road, and I guess it's important to kind of really reach out to, even if it's like a poor team like Ottawa. I mean, it's not a bad idea to pick up Brady Tkachuk, like you said. So, I love that. I love that piece of advice. I might do it myself. I'm kind of front loaded with the Leafs, so.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice, Chris. I think. Everyone's But there's gonna be if you lose a batch, you're pretty much done your week. Obviously in matchup leagues, especially losing those games. But that's great advice to our followers. It was great having you on. Great picks. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube. That's episode 10. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next week.